Now, back in the early 1990s, the Chrystal Rose show was the #1 daytime TV show. It was on ITV, ran for 4 series, and it was hosted by, guess who, Chrystal Rose herself. When she left it, she left to write books, to work on the Barack Obama presidential campaign, to create TV game shows, you name it, she has done it. And now she's back and saying, do you know what? Despite the fact it's nearly, 25, 30 years later, we still don't have enough diversity on TV, and we need to change that. She joins us now. Hi, Chrystal.
Hi, wonderful to speak with you.
Wonderful to speak to you too. I was reading about all the stuff you've done. I'm completely in awe of where you get your energy from, quite frankly. But tell us a little bit, first of all, what TV was like back in the early 90s, particularly for you as a black woman.
Well, the reason I was spurred into being the first woman of any colour to present an eponymous talk show here is because I came home one day, it was 1988, and I saw the Oprah Winfrey Show on TV. Before the time, we had shows on TV like Black on Black, Asian Eye, but they were essentially programs which dealt with issues to deal with the black generation or an Asian generation. We didn't have a black presenter, apart from the news, presenting issues that were meant for everybody. So when I saw Oprah doing this kind of generic show, I said, that's absolutely what I want to do. The only issue was that I didn't have any presentation or production skills at the time. But that I never let a little thing like that stop me. I basically thought about 6 topical subjects I'd love to cover, researched them, got a team of about 40 people in the end together, went down to a place called the Bridge Park Complex, which is in Stonebridge, and the manager there, Carl Johnson, was very gracious because I was part of the community. He allowed me to have the space free of charge. And in the end, I recorded 6 pilot programs on subjects like fashion, single parenthood, is boxing a sport, mixed race relationships, abortion, really topical things. And one of them was diversity. And fortunately, the director, actually, Leonard Johnson, knew the director of Panorama. He came down, saw a show, and introduced me to the Carlton team. And at the time, Margaret Thatcher had just taken away the license from LWT. So they were, Carlton had just won the license, and they were looking for new faces for television. So initially, I think I was supposed to be a news reader, but then they decided, no, we feel that she can do what she's tried to do in these pilots. And so let's make her the first woman in the UK to host an eponymous talk show. And that's basically how it came about.
And that's an amazing story about just creating something and really driving it and just having a love for what you were doing.
It's also when people say no, I don't hear NO, I hear not now. It just means that they're not ready for you yet. It doesn't mean you stop doing what you're doing, And I've actually been in the process of putting my film together for many years, over 10 years. And it's just been whoever hasn't been ready to receive it. It's now in the stage where we're going to shoot next year, but you can't ever stop. Don't ever. If it's your passion, and you believe that you've got something good, then don't let anybody else tell you any differently. So it's just a case of persevering over, people's ignorance at the time. They don't quite understand that they need your project right there and then. That's how I see it anyway.
I actually love this. There's a great meme going around on social media at the moment, which is about the guy who wrote The Queen's Gambit, which is on Netflix, saying that it's taken him 30 years to get somebody to actually commission The Queen's Gambit, and it's now one of the top shows Netflix has ever had. So don't give up on your ideas. That
says it all, doesn't it? Alan Scott, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
So when you looked at TV...
But what's sad, though, may I say, is that whilst I did my show, the pilots were like 35 years ago, and the show aired in 1993. Yeah. Where's the black female talk show host now? It's almost as though we've regressed. Instead of us, there should be 5, but 6 of them at least. Of course, we've got loose women, and there are panelists on there who are black. It's not the same as a single person hosting their own show, and it's not because we don't have the ability. And even then, with all of the work that I did in bringing my show to Carlton, I asked whether I could be a producer, and the answer was no. And I think that they did take a massive leap in terms of allowing me to be, and it was a case of them allowing me to be a woman, a female woman, a black single parent woman hosting the show. But why couldn't that have been, like Oprah with Help? She was in very much the same situation as I was, but then the producers around her said, you should have a part of what you've created and what you're creating. But here we're just a bit backwards in that, and I'm not seeing a great deal of progress now. I am very pleased when I have been watching TV over the Christmas period, and the amount of black actors in those Christmas commercials really warms my heart. There used to be a time when, a black person was on TV and you'd call the whole family, or, you get on the phone. That was, it was such an exciting thing to happen. And now we're in abundance in that regard. But I'd love to do a late night talk show, like a David Letterman type show. Why can't I do that with a band and have celebrity guests? Why?
So why do you think we haven't moved on in 35 years? Because I think you're completely right, which is actually, it's astonishing that in the 90s there was probably more black women presenting TV shows than there are now. Why is that?
It's the people who are in power aren't ready to relinquish that power. It's about sharing power as well. It's about accepting that the people around you have the ability, the talent, and to give them the platform. I mean, I have no power. If I had the power, there'd be several people that I would have hosting their own shows on TV who are black, male and female, and who have the ability. And I'm not understanding, and it's quite disheartening, actually. But when we have leaders such as Boris saying about Muslim women looking like pillar boxes and bank robbers, such as Trump questioning why 4 congresswomen of colour, why they're in America when they were born there, 3 of them were, and the other ones there legally, such as Farage, such as Nick Ferrari, being racist as he was the other day, asking, saying about soon you'll have a Jamaican rapist or paedophile living in the street EU. They are putting the progress of race relations back decades. I'm not sure whether they're aware that they're doing it, but definitely people who have got power and a platform and they can speak to millions, they're really not helping the cause at all.
What do you think? Because I feel like we're in a place kind of post George Floyd's death, the Black Lives Matter movement, which has taken such, really, I think, been taken to heart this year in a way that perhaps it previously hadn't been. What do you think those broadcasting corporations should now be actually committing to in a sort of putting their money where their mouth is type way, actually saying, not just saying we support Black Lives Matter, what should they actually be doing to show they support it?
Well, that's it. It's not just about words, it's about action. Let's see you put people of colour in positions of power, because there are so many people out there that can do those jobs. So let them in. Diversity means understanding that each individual is unique and recognising, those individual differences, the dimensions of race, of ethnicity, of gender, sexual orientation, social economic. Why don't we know that black women, because that's who I am, because I know that diversity covers a lot, but I'm talking from that female perspective at the moment. There are so many of us that have got the ability to be in positions of power, to be the producers, to be exec producers, to be editors. Why aren't we? Where are they? It's ridiculous. I was going to say a show that I actually had a meeting for, but I won't. Let's leave that. Okay. I'm sure that they're coming, but they're just taking too long. I love the fact that on Loose Women in December, it was hosted by 4 black hosts. And, what made it unique was that it was the first time that it's ever happened in almost 30 years that Loose Women's been on air. Why? Clearly, nothing happened with the show. It didn't falter in any way. It was just funny. It was fantastic. I was on social media talking about it because it was a first, It shouldn't be the first time that it happened, But I don't know what to do and say. All I can say is that for people in my position, people who want to keep working in television, people who haven't started and are looking at television because that's what the form in which they want to work, don't give up.
Yeah.
Just, if you go away, then they've got an excuse. Keep knocking on that door. And eventually it will open. And eventually, hopefully, someone like me will be there because I'll have the position and the power to be able to give you the, hands up that you need.
Yeah. Chrystal, it's been absolutely delightful to talk to you. Thank you so much. I'm in awe of everything you've achieved, and I can't wait to see what you do next. Amazing Chrystal Rose there talking about her career and how TV really has not changed as much as it could have done in 35 years. And we need to see some of that change fast.